On February 7th, Democrats in the House of Representatives on the Ways and Means Committee, headed by Democratic Representative John Lewis, they're going to have a meeting, and what they're going to talk about is Donald Trump's tax returns, and of course Mike Pence's tax returns. They're going to have this meeting to try to figure out how can we get access to these tax returns and then make this information available to the public. Now, the Democrats on this committee, they're trying to go about this, by the law. They're doing what they can. They're doing what they are allowed to do. They're handling it legislatively as they are supposed to. Because after all, Donald Trump is under numerous different investigations. He was one of the first president in the last 40 years, or actually the only president in the last 40 years, I should say, to not give us any of his tax information. And so it kind of seems likely that the man's trying to hide something. And if he wanted to shut everybody in this country up about his alleged business dealings that may have compromised him, release the tax returns, show us that nothing happened, and then you're good to go. You might even put an end to some of these investigations into you. But you won't do that because we know you have something to hide. And the Democrats on this panel also know that. And that's why they want these tax returns. Now, they're going to try to go through the rules and see what they can do, see if they can get it from the White House, make it available to the public. They're going to get opposition and resistance from the Republican Party. They'll get opposition from the White House. But there is a provision in a 1924 tax rule that says that the chairman of any of the three tax committees can access any taxpayer's information, anybody's tax return, any single person in this country. If you're the chairperson of one of those three tax committees, they have access to it. They are legally allowed to get access to it. So Trump can fight it all he wants, and they don't want to have to go through using this provision, but they will if they have to, and they will if they need to. And that's the key word here. This is information that we need to know. It could completely show us how corrupt Donald Trump is. And I'm not talking about the Russia probe. I think, to me, what's more intriguing is what are his deals with Saudi Arabia? What's going on with UAE? What's going on with Qatar? There is so much shady dealings happening with those Middle Eastern countries and the Trump family. And we need answers into that. We need to know where money is going or coming or whatever. And that information could be contained in those tax returns. Or, as I said, these tax returns may show that this is a guy who's on the level. He just sometimes acts like an idiot, but in reality never committed a single crime whatsoever. Everybody calm down. He's just stupid. He's not criminal. That could be something we find out. We don't know what's in those returns because he's been too cowardly to release them to the public. That's not good. Democrats also have a provision in a new bill they want to get passed that would force presidential and vice presidential candidates to release tax information to the public when running for president or vice president. That is something I think is desperately needed. If you want to be president of the United States, you got to come clean. You got to show us what you got. You got to put all your cards on the table so that we can make decisions. And we can make sure that you're not doing things that you're not supposed to with your money. I don't care about how much money you have or don't have. What I care about is where it's coming from and what it got you. And I think that's what a lot of people in this country care about. I don't care if he is a billionaire or not a billionaire. Oh, well. What matters is, was he taking money from other countries that could have eventually influenced his policy as president of the United States? And that is something that all of us desperately deserve an answer to. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.